Oi, oi, it's Frankie B, reporting for Pep Talk UK's Real Talk on Pep Talk. I'm joined by the French Pep Talk boy, Pascal. How you doing?
Very well, Frankie B. Very well. And yourself?
I'm doing well. Now let's get straight into it. Callum has advanced to the final of the World Boxing Super Series with a unanimous points decision over Nieky Holzken. Now, not exactly spectacular, but he's got the job done, my friend.
You certainly have. You know, Frankie B, as long as you win, you know, it's what counts. So I think from that point of view, we can say that Callum Smith did what he had to do. He progresses to the final, which is what, you know, he wanted to do in the first place. So I think from that point of view, congratulations to Callum Smith, of course. But on the other hand, there's a bit of question marks about his performance, because we would expect Callum Smith to
dispatch of a relative novice.
Yeah, you know, especially a boxer that's quite novice. You know, Holzken has somewhere in the region of 13 fights, so he's not quite world level. And you expect the skills of Callum Smith to be able to, you know, to take care of the job. And also that would have sent out some really good, a good message to George Groves, knowing that he's got power to knock out his opponent. So the fact that he's not quite decisively beating his opponents to the run to the final, to me, tells me that I have Groves' edge in that fight.
Yeah, it will. Apparently picked up an injury during the fight to both hands. Do you think that in any way influenced the performance of Callum Smith?
Well, yes, you know, I think that the jab, the use of the jab is really what won him the fight. You know, he peppered, you know, Holzken with a lot of jabs during the fight. And I think throughout the course of the fight, he damaged his hand, which quite interestingly, we have two fighters potentially injured into the June 2nd final. So we know that Groves got an injury to his shoulder, and with the injury to the hand, could maybe even out the performance. But even so, if George Groves is able to heal himself to 95%, I still believe that George Groves has got enough experience and enough pedigree at that level to beat Callum Smith. You know, I'm not overly convinced that Callum Smith, simply because, you know, his run to the final has been with relatively unknown opponents.
That's right, yeah.
And we've not seen an explosive, you know, performance, a world-class performance to make us say, oh my God, this guy is going to be the best in the world. But the good thing is we have the #1 and the number 2 seeds in the final, which I think speaks volumes, because, you know, they are where they are because of how good they are. So I think that the result itself is fair, and I think that the fight will be a fantastic fight.
Do we think George Groves will struggle against a taller man in Callum Smith come June 2nd?
I think Frankie B, the Nieky Holzken tried to box with Callum Smith. Callum Smith is a better boxer, he's much more talented, much more rangier, very long arms. And I think George Groves will probably execute a different game plan.
Yeah, he can't do the jab at reach now. He's fighting a taller man in June 2nd.
Absolutely. I think what he will do is probably go to the body and try to break down Callum Smith into the body. We know that the footwork of George Groves is, in my opinion, is much better than Callum Smith. So I expect George Groves to stick a move, but to work the body, and eventually tiring Callum Smith, and also potentially going for the knockout in the later rounds. You know, we know that Smith himself sometimes can tire. He's a very, very big super middleweight.
Big man, it's a big boy.
So I think that it will be a very good fight, you know. And I think on the night they probably will be more like light heavyweights rather than super middles.
It's probably a case of whoever recovers from their injury the best might probably be the favourite.
Yes, of course, that's a very good point. You know, at this stage we don't know yet whether George Groves requires surgery. If he does, that will have a big impact on his preparation to the fight. Also, if Callum Smith has a broken hand or has a fractured hand,
apparently two hands, yeah, injury into both hands.
That too could take some time to heal and to recover. So, you know, we've got potentially two injured fighters, or fighters will be carrying injury in the biggest fight of their career. So I think that itself will make the fight more exciting, because it would then go down to who wants it the most, you know, and that makes boxing even more exciting. So I expect a very good fight, all British final, which I think will be fantastic. But as I said before, I'm leaning more towards George Groves, based on his experience, based on his skill level. But also we still don't know how good Callum Smith is, and perhaps he's just the type of fighter that adapts to who is in front of him.
That's right, and he could be the surprise package in the tournament.
Exactly, you know, and I think that's what is quite intriguing about Callum Smith, is that there's a bit of a mystery about him and about how good it is. So I'm hoping that he can showcase that in the final on June 2nd. But as a betting man, I will stick to George Groves.
And potentially you might have to get yourself ready, Pascal, to step in June 2nd.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm training hard with the XAVIER boys, so you never know. I could be the surprise finalist.
Pascal, it's been a pleasure, mate. Don't forget to subscribe to Pep Talk UK. Pascal, oui.
Oui, au revoir.
Thank you.